Hello, gentlemen and ladies, and welcome once again to Agrestal Vestige, where we are vested in all things Agrestal. My name is Tom. I'm here with you yet again, another week, with yet again another blended Scotch whiskey review. Now, last week, you will recall that we reviewed Banknote, 5-year-old blended Scotch whiskey. This year we have Banknote blended Scotch whiskey, but it is Banknote peated. Yes, that's right. You heard me correct. And it's also a blended Scotch whiskey. And as you blend friends out there know, there's not a lot of good price point or just blended Scotch whiskies that have peat in them or distinctly peated. So this is a rare bird. I obtained this at the same place that I obtained the other one. And this is also bottled at 43%, the same as the other. Blended and bottled for Stanley Morrison & Son in Ayrshire, Scotland. But it was bottled by A.J. Rattray, an independent bottler which has been around since about 1868. Let me see. It says a blended Scotch whiskey distilled from grain and malted barley, which has a traditionally smoky nose with big notes of fruit and peat. The palate retain the big fruity flavors of the nose with a smoky finish. Well, I've had some of this, and I won't tell you about it now. I'll just try it along with you. So if you've got your bottle of peat note there, pull it out and we'll have it together. If you don't, then go out and find a bottle. I don't think you'll be disappointed. Ask for it. A lot of times they don't keep these whiskeys in shops simply because nobody asks for them, and they don't think nobody will purchase them. But if you go and ask for them, a lot of times they can get them. I found that out. But anyway, Banknote Peated Reserve blended Scotch whiskey. So, what do we have? Firstly, on the nose. The first thing you get is a very strong bonfire type peat. It's not an Isla type peat. It's not a medicinal style. It's not any of the Isla whiskey styles or the Tobermory Lachate type styles but it's just a good old-fashioned Highland smoky type peat. That's the first thing that hits you when you take a sniff of the glass after a first pour. It's reminiscent of campfire, wood burning at a campfire. But behind the smoke, there's faint flavors of honey and barley and maybe just a touch of zest, maybe an orange zest. But I mean, that's about it on the nose initially. It's just overwhelming, nice, rich, thickly smelling smoke. Nice. So, on the palate. The palate is definitely dominated by smoky peat. There's other flavors emerging, but you have to get over that initial nice blast of heavy smoky peat that's there. Right behind the peat, if you can find it initially, you probably won't initially, but you'll start getting some spicy wood notes coming through. And it goes along with the smoke, but there's also a chimney soot, charcoaly type presence that's distinctly there on the palate. Smoky, charcoaly. I said chimney, it's like licking the inside of a chimney. I don't know how many of us have done that. I've done it accidentally, but it's been a long time ago, decades now. Back when we used to exclusively, that was the only source of heating, was that. Now, once you get past that smoke, it's a real nice, deep, rich, dark chocolate, good quality dark chocolate that starts to appear, and it's combined with like roasted nuts. It's almost like a real high-end, lovely, bittery style of dark chocolate, melted and smothered and covered in roasted nuts, or covering the roasted nuts, and then you eating that. It's that's it. I mean, it's like the shells of like a pecan or a peanut. It's that roasted nut, the walnut, the black walnut actually. You know, because that would blend in with the dark chocolate. It's like roasted nuts with melted dark chocolate covering them. It's lovely. There's a hint of sweetness there, but it's not enough to even mention, really. I don't know why I actually mentioned it. But it's definitely ashy. Ashy. That's a good word for it. It's definitely an ashy whiskey. And I love this type of profile myself. Some people are completely turned off on it or by it, but I happen to love it. And if you love the smoky style profile that's deep and dark, you'll love this. It does an excellent job for a cheap blended Scotch whiskey at 30 pounds a bottle, dollars, euros, wherever you can get it. It's around the same. You need to get this if you're a fan of heavily peated whiskeys and you're on a budget and you like a blend, because this will definitely not disappoint you. Other blends that I know that are heavily peated, like Teachers and all, this would stand alongside them. That's got a slightly different flavor profile, but it would stand happily alongside them. As far as the finish, now the regular banknote peated was sort of medium. This is a long finish on this one. It's long and slightly astringent. Don't get me confused. It's not briny, but there's a touch of saltiness there. But it's still not an Isla type peat, but not briny. But it is a touch of salt there, which is probably comes from the aforementioned flavors. Right, let me add some water at this stage, just a couple of milliliters, and see what that does. But yeah, I'm still enjoying the finish on that. It's long, lengthy, leathery, tobacco-y, smoky, chocolatey. If you like this type of profile, you'll love this. It's actually about the same color, more or less, as the unpeated. So I don't know if it's colored or not. I don't taste any of it. I don't taste any of that foul E150 stuff. If it is, it's very little. This is also age statement, the same as the regular banknote. The banknote Peated Reserve is also age stated at 5 years. And as I said, 43% alcohol by volume. I can't see anything else there. Any information that you'd want. So, see if anything changes after we add the drop of water. Well, the smoke's still there. It almost gets stronger after the addition of water. You know, like on the finish before the water, the finish was a bit ashy. The initial nose after the addition of water is distinctly ashy this time. A little bit more fruity notes and florally notes coming through now. The honey and toffee and caramel becomes more pronounced after the water. I mean, I don't know if it's the fruit notes, fruit and honey and sweet notes moving forward a little bit, or if the peat notes, smoky notes, are just moving back a touch. Anyway, it's becoming more distinctive than the flavor notes are. Now, the addition of water on the palate did tame down that burst of that violent attack of smoke that you got without the water. It's still very smoky, but it tamed it a little bit so you could start getting some other notes coming through, like vanilla is distinctly there. Caramel, again, distinctly there. Those are real common notes that you find in a lot of scotches, especially ones that were matured in American oak barrels. Speaking of that, there is a touch of oak there, a touch of spicy oak. It's interesting, the smoke on this, like I said, it backs up a little, but it almost becomes slightly sweet. And I'm not confusing that with the caramel, toffee, and honey notes that's in there, but the smoke itself has almost got a gentle canter of sweetness about it now. That's interesting. Yeah, I haven't seen that profile on whiskeys in a long time. But the flavor is still a full-on bonfire. So you can have all these other little distinctive notes that you want to, and they're all there, and they're all enjoyable, and they're all melded well together, but it's still a bonfire in your mouth if you like that. The finish is still long. It's still very balanced. I mean, it's a very balanced whiskey. So was the regular banknote. From the arrival, the development, the finish, all the way through. You got this nice balance. And difficult to find regularly in a generic or generically priced blended Scotch whiskey. The finish is still ashy. It's still chimney sooty. The vanilla still sticks around though, but not a lot. This is mainly like I said, bonfire in your mouth. And a lovely one too. Anyway, what would I give this for marks out of 100? Now remember, I give the regular banknote 88. I would probably, simply because it's unique. You know, you don't get a blended Scotch whiskey that's heavily peated and have all the distinctive smokiness that this one has. They're very rare. White Horse is a bit of that. Teachers is definitely that. You get some, you don't get many. You got that flaming Johnny Walker that pretends to, and it tastes like shite. This, I'd have it hands down any day over the Johnny Walker, any of the Johnny Walker colors. This is just lovely. If you like that profile, I would give this marks out of 100. I would grade this at a 90. I would confidently and happily do that. It's deserved. There's no bitterness there. You can tell it was a well-matured whiskey, even though it's only 5 years old. And as you know, friends, the younger whiskeys between 5 and about 8. If you really into peat and you really love smoke, that's the ideal time. Between 5 to 8 years, I'd push it up to 10. But the longer after 10 years old a whiskey matures, the less intensity of the smoke and the peat. Facts. Anyway, I can't think of anything else to say. Please comment on any of these if you've got something to say. If you find a bottle, let me know. Let me know what you think. Like, subscribe, and all of the stuff that they say do. And until next time, this is Tom with the Grestal Vestige. And bye-bye.